Shiva. The Sutra number 41. kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ. Having weakened, having diluted the vrittis, what else happens? The three things that are grahītṛ-grahaṇa-grāhyeṣu grahītṛ means the object, the experience of the object, and the experiencer, the three. Okay. Next, tat-stha-tat-añjanatā means the coloring. The coloring, this sort of coloring, this sort of experience of the object, where object, the experience of the object and the experiencer becomes one, tadanyānatā, which means they become colored in one color. The tonality, that the differentiatedness of the object, the knowledge of the object and the experiencer vanishes. So here the mind is taking the shape of that object. Abhijātasya-iva maṇeḥ means as if the newly born or newly obtained, freshly obtained maṇeḥ. Abhijātasya-iva maṇeḥ. Which means that crystal, maṇeḥ, crystal. Maṇeḥ means any gem which is clear, which reflects the light, or maybe which is kind of, probably you must have seen, if you put a glass ball on a colored paper, you'll find that the glass is also seen in that color. The glass ball, any glass object, any glass cuboid, if you place it on a piece of paper which has its color, it will be seen as if it has obtained the same color, right? You may have observed that. The beads of sphatic, the mala or garland or the rosary which you wear, sphatic is that crystal. If it is kept in the vicinity of some other color, it obtains the similar color. It gets reflected in that, that's it. So, meaning thereby, if the maṇeḥ of the crystal is clear, it has no impurity of its own, then it will reflect the exact color. It will obtain the exact color of the thing which is placed in front of that crystal. So, having the weakened the vrittis after the tendencies of the mind, which are the vrittis of the mind, are conquered, they become kṣīṇa, means they become weak. They are not stirring the mind space anymore. Then the perception happens, and this perception, once it is further enhanced or it further grows, it leads to a samāpattiḥ, which is samadhi, where the knower becomes the object. Who knows? Atman. Who presents the knowledge? The mind. How mind obtains this knowledge? By reflecting the attributes of the object which are presented in front of indriyas. So it's just like mind behaving like a mirror. And please remember, in the initial phase of sadhana, since you're not able to identify your true self, you identify yourself with the mind, the chittam itself, in the beginning. In Tantra, the Anavopaya Sutra also declares it. Atma Chittam. You consider yourself to be your mind. And if this mind has been cleared off or has been worked on by abhyasa and vairagya persistently, for a long period of time, then this mind will have least number of currents which are there, but they are very weak. The ripples are not as strong to distort any image which is falling on the chitta. What is this distortion? The distortion is possible when you enhance certain qualities. That means the object is presented to you, a situation is presented to you, and you don't perceive that situation, object, thing, or whatever in its true nature. For example, in your happiness, you may tend to amplify good qualities of any object. And the same object you will not be able to praise when you are in bad mood. Some good act of somebody, if you are in your good mood, that means coloring of your chittam or the vrittis in your chittam are aklishta, which means are pleasant, then you may tend to amplify the good qualities and ignore the bad qualities of any object, place, situation, etc. But when your mind is stirred and the vrittis are aklishta vrittis, then the same object, even if it is embedded with the same qualities, you will ignore them or probably will not feel as if those qualities are contained in that object. For example, if you are leading a life where everything is going well and so far you haven't faced any such situation where people have cheated you, let's say, and they haven't done anything contrary to your interests, or probably they have come up to your expectation partially or fully, but not kind of totally against your expectation. If that kind of experience you have been going through and suddenly some of your known person whom you call your friend or anyone, maybe your relative, does a thing which is contrary to your expectations, and that stirs up your mind space. In that stirred mind space, what will you do? Most of the people say, sab beiman hai. You see, everybody is bad. Earlier they were good. You got stirred, now everybody is bad. Does that happen or not? If you don't resonate with these teachings, then learning will not. You'll have to agree that yes, this is the state of mind. If that is not the state of your mind, then probably you need higher philosophy, higher methods. If this is the state of your mind, partially or fully you feel it, then of course there is scope for Patanjali to work on it. Otherwise, you're out of the scope, out of the syllabus of Patanjali. If your chittam colored in any sort of vritti does not amplify, reduce, mutilate, destroys or enhances the properties or the characteristics of your experience, then far beyond this scope of yoga. You need something else. You need some other lessons. So do you all agree that these things happen with you or not? Here you do. Okay. So here Patanjali says samadhi. And what samadhi he is talking about? He is talking of samprajñāt samadhi. Why? Because in samprajñāt samadhi, objects, sensations, everything else is taken. Types of samadhis have already been taught. How many types are there? Vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita, etc. Right? These were samadhi, types of samadhi. So here vitarka or vichara, your mind reflects the truth of the object, truth of the thought, truth of the person, truth of whatever it is, which is presented in front of you. Every attribute becomes clear to you. That means as if you become that object. You know a thing by becoming that thing. This is a rule. Mind should become that thing, and that mind, which is what you say, a metamorphosis. It changes its shape. It gets transformed into a new object. Mind keeps changing its shape, its characteristics. It becomes that object. And after becoming that object, it is presented in front of the experiencer, which is Atman. And Atman finally experiences it. It is like you observing everything on this screen. You are not meeting anybody. You are not in front of anybody. People are sitting in front of some sense organs, which are called sensors. These sensors are cameras, microphones, etc. That is transmitted to the mirror or kind of something which you're having in front of you. Let's call it chittam. On this chittam, that object is reflected. And you sitting in the place of Atman, you're observing it. The object haven't entered you. Object will never stick to you. And they will not even stick to this surface. Though they stick in terms of sanskaras. The mirror goes on accumulating all this, and therefore it becomes dirty. And this mirror needs to be cleansed before you can actually perceive any truth. This mirror needs to be cleansed. Which mirror? The mirror of your mind. When we say mind or mana, it includes everything. It includes the memory part, it includes the sanskar, it also includes vasana, it also includes vrittis, it also includes your ego, it also includes your buddhi, etc. Buddhi being the highest here. Okay? Buddhi being the highest. So, and you kind of associating yourself, your presence as ego here. Okay? So, for an ordinary person, Atman is not experienced. Ego is experienced. Although ego gets all its powers because of the Chaitanya, which is getting reflected in these dead instruments. Mind is an instrument, intellect is an instrument, ego is an instrument. You have it. All this karmendriyas and gyanendriyas are an instrument. They work on this. In the same way as if you consider the example of this computer, laptop, mobile, tablet, whatever you are using, consider that the Chaitanya which is getting into this equivalent to electricity. If this electricity is not flowing in it, this is defunct. To power up this particular equipment, you may need wire. In the same way, the Chaitanyam of the Atman gets reflected into these dead instruments, which is buddhi, ahankara, mana, and indriyas, etc. So, antahkaran seemingly feels alive. It is not alive. It is alive by the Chaitanya. What we call alive means we have kind of chetana. Is it not? Your body seems to have chetana. Where from it comes? It comes from the Chaitanyam, that Atma that resides in it. Correct. So everything Atman experiences, it experiences with the help of this mirror which it has gotten. This is mind, chitta. On chittam, all your sanskars, etc. are lying there. You need to clean them up. You need to do the marjan, which means rubbing off the surface of it, core of it, because mind is not just like a mirror. It's like a crystal. Any impurity therein will be clearly impacting the quality of that image. Understand? Which it will produce or it will create after receiving the sensations from the world. Now, this has been accepted in every philosophy, in every path. Even simple, what you call upasanas, simple aradhanas, you will find this. Let us take the example of Hanuman Chalisa, let's say. The first doha, Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj, Nij Man Mukuru Sudhari. What is Man Mukur? Mirror of mind. How to clean it? Using the dust from the lotus feet of Guru. You need something to clean, no? Now you need colin, some other detergent, maybe just plain water or rubbing, a cloth, whatever. You need it, right? So there it is said it is best cleaned by using Guru Charan Raj. So cleaning of the mind, which means again, working on the vrittis, calming down the vrittis. Once it happens, the mirror is ready to reflect whatever is coming next. Then, in fact, you are able to proceed in even simple upasana. Correct? Bhakti. A mind full of so many vrittis which are very, very strong, you cannot produce that oneness which is possible when the mind is pure. So, let us also understand in terms of our experience of sadhakas, experience of siddhas, and experience of those people who seemingly are advanced sadhakas. Somebody says that I have siddhi of Hanuman. What is it? It simply means he reflects perfect image of Hanuman in his antahkara. That is, that there comes a time when he kind of becomes the reflection of Hanuman. In the same way, you go to Atharva Shīrsha, Ganapati Atharva Shīrsha, then you say, Tam Sakshat Atmasi Nityam. Which means again the same thing. That Ganapati has to be experienced as self. You become a reflection of Ganapati. The reflection of Ganapati you can become, and truly so, if you don't remain Kallu Halwai anymore. If you have vrittis, sanskars, vasanas of Kallu Halwai, you can't become Ganapati, you can't become Hanumat. That means the object in front of you in any of your vrittis which you are focusing on in your process, like vitarka vichara. Vitarka is an object. Object can be in outside world as well as it can be a vikalpa for you. Vikalpa means imagination. You can imagine an object well within the mind space. Both are objects. Let's say I say rose. Rose can be outside. If I present a rose, you create a rose. The rose is reflected there. If I don't present that rose to you and I say red, fresh, blooming rose, I said this. Don't you have the rose in your head now? You have it. If I say only listen to this, don't entertain anything, other thoughts should be subsided, then you will start experiencing the rose in its totality. Rose will become real as if you are observing a real rose. So this is a siddhi. How it can become a siddhi? See, for you to know, let's say Pawan wants to know what Seema is thinking. How can he know? By becoming Seema. If he becomes Seema, that moment itself, whatever Seema is at that moment, because pavan is no more there. Pavan is a vritti. You, whatever personality you are, it is a vasana. You see how vasanas work. Vasanas are deep colorings of our mind. For example, it is very difficult for any man to dream that he was wearing a woman attire unless until his taste is like that in the real world. In the dream. Have you seen a dream in which you were wearing a sari? Men, please. Have you ever seen a dream where you were dressed like a woman? You did not. Maybe 10 days later you get, because now you have an idea, now I have presented an image, after 10 days you may see yourself like that. Maybe. But you will still say, I was feeling weird when I was, even in your dream you will say that. Which means what? Your vasana of personality, your vasana of you being a male colors your chittam. And in your chittam, all these smritis, all these vikalpas are colored by this. Understand? So you think like what you believe to be. Your all thoughts are colored by your own identity. What is your identity? If your identity is that you are weak, your every thought will be weak. You think you are powerless, your every statement will not have the power behind it. It will be kind of a jittery statement. So whatever we think, whatever is strongest vasana, at that point in time, when you are entertaining any vikalpa or when you are entertaining any pratyaksha, it is going to color it. And any coloring whatsoever, good or bad, is actually limiting your experience. Therefore, Yoga Sutra tells that we should completely get rid of all the vrittis and all the vasanas, because our own capacities and our own real nature is something which is much, much bigger, much, much powerful than what we think we are. Dropping all your identities will make you more capable. All your capacities are currently limited by your self-knowledge. You know yourself as a limited body-mind. And you haven't understood actually what are the powers of mind. Because in your world, in your transactional interaction with the world, you use bodily functions. You use your hand, you use your legs, you use your other organs, and you use your speech. That is, at best, you use. Have you ever used thoughts to influence anything? Merely thoughts, without speech, without written words. Is thought a faculty which you have? You have it. You have that power. But have you ever used this power of thought to change things in your life? No? Not. And therefore you don't know. That mind itself is powerful. It has many faculties which are unexplored. And they get limited because we start thinking that we are the body. But anyways, coming back to Sutra, what is Samadhi? Samadhi is your chittam becoming that object. Understand? Your mind, your chittam becoming that object is samadhi. If you sustain it for long enough, you will know the object. Let me tell you how ancient rishis in their one lifetime could write so much about different things. For example, if you get to read certain Ayurveda books which have been written by rishis like Charanga, Charak, Shushruta, and so many, you will find that they have defined so many characteristics of each and every herb. Have you seen that? One herb, turmeric, let's say, what it is, in which dosha it will work, in which quantity, along with which other herb it will act differently, hmm, what time, what quantity is to be consumed, in what all ailments this is useful. You would require modern science. Just also do these things, they do researches, but find out how much time they consume in finding out all the possible qualities just about a particular herb. Forget about the combinations. This is called research. Hmm? They do research. And research after research on the same herb they are doing, and they are then coming up with the certain qualities. That this is proven, this is proven, this is proven. And how do they prove? They work on a hypothesis, then they experiment. After experimentation, they do all data collection, then they create placebo groups and whatnot, and then the median, mean, and all sort of tools are used to just show that, yeah, in the control group, it is seen that it has 33% deviation, whatever, from the placebo group. And they say it is thus proven. So everything is done in the physical part to arrive at a result, arrive at certain qualities about a particular herb. Now think about how one person in one lifetime can write about so many herbs with so much accuracy that after centuries, hundreds of centuries to say, nothing has changed. How? By the way of samāpattiḥ. In generic, normal terms, they say, our rishis used to talk to herbs. That's not correct. The thing is, they become the herb. When they become the herb, they know what they can do. Understand? In that samadhi, when you have become turmeric, will you not know what uses, what are your own powers? You will know. In the same way, every quality of everything will become clear to you if you just become that. And the way of becoming that object is by the way of samadhi. And samadhi is when your own vrittis pertaining to your identity and your transactions and your smritis of all that which has gone by is subsided completely. You are available here as if you're born just now, fully functional individual, as if you're born just now. No impressions on the mirror of your chin. Or else, in other words, maybe everything is there, but because of that vashikara vairagya, you are able to put it aside. How do you do that? Vashikara works like this. Suppose you are to entertain a case in your own court, you being the judge, where your own son is presented as a criminal. What do? You follow the constitution, you follow the IPC, you follow the procedures. You can't be a father there. If you become a father there, it will be a problem for you. Your decisions will not be correct. So what do? For that much time, you control. You put aside that vritti of being father, and then you become the judge. And being a judge, you pronounce a judgment. But what exactly happening here? I'm giving an example only for you to understand. But you should know that while a judge is doing this, and if it is happening for him in this lifetime, let's say for the first time, how much struggle it would be for him. You understand? To not be a father, which is his real experience, and which is loaded with mamata. So what is binding? What is changing his position? His own relation. Correct? Relationship happens only by connecting, including anybody in your own self. This is how relationship is. Wherever you say my, it is extension of me. My is extension of I. And what we are asking here, Patanjali is asking that your my should go. You should become pure I. But you'll say, I can't live my life like this. I can't lead my life like this. If I forget what is my, तो मैं अपने जूते के बजाय दूसरे का जूता पहनने लगूंगा. मैं अपने घर के बजाय दूसरे के घर में जाने लगूंगा. Which means what? While you are interacting, while you are operational in this world, you can't completely drop it. You'll have to keep it. However, when you are trying to enter into samadhi, you will have to have control on your own chittam that I am no more this and nothing is mine. This is called kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ. Understand? Now, kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ comes by, kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ is all what we can try. Para-vairagya we can't. Let us be clear. Let us not try to think that we are very much capable and we can directly have para-vairagya. Kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ will give you so many powers and capacities and will give you so much ananda, vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita, ananda. Ananda will also be there. This will give you some ananda. Now, paravairagya is that you don't fall in any sort of raga for this ananda also. You are ready to let go this also. Then you will be eligible for asamprajñāt samadhi, which is called by creation, by transmutation of this kṣīṇa-vṛtteḥ into paravairagya. Step by step. Jaise somebody says that this fellow is, क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में, बहुत त्यागी है. What is the English word for that? The one who has denounced what he thought was his own. That is tyaga. You had a Ferrari, you were a king, you were a prince, and somebody says, look at this guy, he's tyagi. And he had all that. And he denounced it. He sacrificed it. He gave it away. He gave away all the rights and preferred to live a life of ascetic. Such a person, you'll say, yeah, tyagi, this is definitely a tyagi person. Now, if someone tells you that this is a tyagi person and a person who has renounced, is a kind of sacrificing, and he was living a very poor life, nothing to eat, nowhere to live, difficult to cover his own body, not having clothes, proper clothes, and somebody declares that he is tyagi, they'll say what he had to actually denounce, how his tyag is proven. Is this the way or not? In the same way here, whatever little we have, because we are all kallu halwais, we simply own a shop, make some sweets, sell it to our customers, earn money, and then distribute into our own people. We don't donate. We don't compromise. We don't leave even a single penny. No credit. No compromise. Everything is taken care of. And then what do you do? By that money which you earn, you feed all those kabutars, which you think they are your own. Nobody else. Which means now, currently you are in the identity of this, that I am responsible for these many fellows. That is what gives you the intense urge to do things for them, is it not? In the same way, when some of your own people commit certain sort of mistakes, they don't follow whatever you are saying, they are not following, then will you be able to control your anger or your frustration if you considered them your own, or if you did not consider them their own? Tell me. When will you be able to control? You will be readily able to drop if you, and kind of, I'm not saying that 100%, but the impact will be very less. Impact will be very, very less. It will not be able to stir you up. Why? Because you are not colored with that vasana of a particular relationship. Mamata. So what are those times when you should have the opportunity to practice Vashikara Vairagya? When any moment, any opportunity, when you think that your expectations are making you a play of their own. And you will see in the base, in the roots, in the foundation, your own mamata, vasana, a particular identification will be there. You'll have to drop it. The moment you drop it, you become an individual, you will be able to deal with it for the moment. If you are able to do it, you can do it always. When in the intense moments you are able to do it, you can do it always, at your will. Like the judge becoming a father or the father becoming a judge. At his will. If he can do it without any problems, one time he can do it another time also. Yes or no? And the more he practices, that means the more sins, more crimes his son keeps committing and keeps presenting himself in his courtroom, more perfect he will become in this abhyas. He does it once, he will definitely have expectations that Bhagwan dobara aisa mauka mat dena. I should not. He'll pray. He'll pray hard. And his all prayers are for what? It's too much of a struggle to become nobody. From being a father, he becomes nobody. Then from that nobody, he picks to become a judge. He can't directly become, you understand? He'll have to first drop fatherhood. Then the judgehood will be able to take charge. Is it not? In the same way, wherever you have an opportunity will present in terms of any disturbances in your chitta. Let me tell you. Every disturbance, every thread, every situation which is kind of klishta for you should know. It is the test for Vairagya. Or it is the test for Vidya. Which means there are two aspects. Vairagya and Vidya. First, you should apply Vidya, and Vidya should be loaded with Vairagya. Vidya and Vairagya. Vidya means right wisdom. You take an action which is supposed to be taken. Not in the light of any relationship or whatsoever. Universal wisdom. Somebody commits a mistake. What is universal wisdom? Look at the severity of it. If it is forgivable, you must forgive. Ordinary people. I'm not talking of the saints. For them, everything is forgivable. Even if you kill them, they can forgive. You see? I'm not talking of them. Be an ordinary person and then think what is forgivable. At least forgive. Begin from there. Some control you'll obtain. And then also in the process of forgiving, becoming nobody, which means disidentifying yourself from the identity or relationship or mamata that you have. It will greatly help you. Vashikara, which means control. Live a life from the position of control. Patanjali is simply saying that even if you don't become yogi, live in the control of your thoughts, Live in the control of your responses. Live in the control of your wisdom. Nobody, no situation, no instant should be able to hack it. That is the success sutra, to summarize, for the ordinary. Because you people or anybody else who is thinking that you will follow the path of yoga, no, you can't. Because you directly jump onto the asana mats and start doing certain pranayams directly, twisting your body, contouring your body, and then sit for meditation. It can never happen because essentially you have to have vairagya and lot of abhyasa, there's a lot of practice of vairagya to be able to follow the system of yoga. Because it directly works on your mind. It is only concerning your mind, nothing else. What is yoga? Well, it's chitta-vritti nirodha. What is yoga? Chitta-vritti nirodha. The yoga is focusing only on your chitta. Everything is ancillary, everything else. However, if you look at the system of yoga, I can tell you, you will not need pranayama, you will not need asana, you will not need anything else. If you master abhyasa of vairagya, because that will give the control on your chitta vritti, right? Nirodha will become easy. Now, for those who are not, so they say, no, you need to explain it further. Please explain it. I can't understand from what is abhyas and vairagya. All right. So Patanjali will say, listen, my son, abhyas and vairagya is actually yamaniyam. That's it. Follow yamaniyama and you can become a yogi. Forget about asana, forget about pranayam, forget about dharana, dhyana, samadhi, pratyahara. Nothing is needed. I am declaring it here. Follow yamaniyama 100%. You are a yogi. Nothing else is needed. You will become a perfect yogi just following yama niyama. If you have the courage, you can go ahead. You don't need a teacher. Even in these two, you don't need a teacher. Books will teach you. But you need certain testing mechanism. For that, you would need people. Of course, you'll say, I'm into ahimsa, non-violence. Then suddenly somebody comes and plucks the flower which you have taken care of, you tended with so much care. After 3 months, it has flowered, and that flower lasts for 7 days. And the first day itself, that person comes and plucks it. Now see, ahimsa becomes hinsa or not. Understand that? So yama niyama will be given later. Currently, we are dealing with only vairagya directly. So I'm giving you methods of vairagya directly. I'm not saying that for that you need to prepare yourself. Okay, whatever it is, just start working on yourself, whatever principles we are learning. And the principles simply say that you have to work on your vrittis. Working on vrittis means working on vasanas. Working on vrittis means also taking care of your sanskars. Because your sanskars only make your vrittis. Sanskars are responsible for making your vrittis based on the concretized wisdom or concretized vasanas which you come into this life with, earning it from the previous experiences which you have gotten onto this by living different lives prior to this life. They come. So therefore, you like something, you dislike something. You don't have any answer for it. Somebody will say, no, I don't like bitter gourd. Otherwise, I like it. Okay. Any reason? I don't. In my family, nobody likes it, but I like it. Okay, good. So that means no sanskar of this lifetime. Correct or not? In the same way, sanskars of this lifetime are to be dealt with. That is what we have told. And primarily the drivers which we can analyze and which we can work on are exactly the sanskars which are falling upon our chittam in this lifetime. Those sanskars we can work on because there is a relationship of karya karana, cause and effect. Other things, I don't know. I want to get rid of this liking of the pink, but I don't know what to do. Of course, you don't know the cause and therefore you can't work on it. If you knew the cause, probably you could work on it. So we don't work on this subtle like and dislike, this very basic like and dislike, but you have to be very, very careful, very, very alert in order to become capable of deciphering when it is being driven by the concretized raga dvesh of past lives or when it is this lifetime is taken over. Experience of this lifetime is responsible for it. You see? Is it not so? You have to, sometimes you will be rather thrown off your balance and you will think that, yeah, I don't like it, so I don't like it. I can't work on it because it is coming from the past life. No, look deeper. And maybe 99% of the times you'll find that there are reasons existing in your own sanskaras. Sanskars means experiences that have happened within this life. Understand? What am I saying? Many a times you will have this tendency to rule out any action upon you, any actionable, you will not be able to draw and say, I'm like this, must be from last life. And I've been given freedom by my teachers or by Patanjali, or no, Patanjali is not giving that freedom, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm saying don't work on the basic likes and dislikes if they are harmless. Your liking pink doesn't harm anybody. Your liking white doesn't harm anybody. Yes or no? Is it not? So that way, those harmless likes, dislikes can be left alone. Just don't work on them. Don't become too concerned with them. Our interaction has to become flawless. It should not disturb our peace of mind, which means we'll have to become really aware of all the likes and dislikes, which is raga, dvesha, especially concerning to human behaviors. And then we should also be able to carefully analyze any experience of disturbance in terms of what are the sanskars and what is my vasana? Why am I getting disturbed? This much you must learn. And when you will work on it, then your vrittis will become feeble. They will become weak by and by. Not in first attempt itself. It will be a lot of struggle, lot of introspection, lot of vimarsh, lot of manan. You'll have to dig deeper into the problem. You'll have to truly come to face with your own desires there. And all of us are loaded with so many hidden desires. Those desires, once again, as I say, are rooted in our own sanskars. You have to get back to that. And then you'll find that, yeah, this is the reason I think like this. This is the reason why I behave like this. This is the reason, this is how I have become. So all bubbly young boys become broody, as if life has been sucked out of them. How that has happened? Because so many experiences, and experiences are called sanskar. So many sanskars came which created certain vrittis, and those vrittis are detrimental to your own existence. Now, let me also just focus on another aspect pertaining to those people who are doing sadhana. You see, when I say vairagya is crystallization of viveka. It means when vivek means discrimination becomes perfect, that becomes vairagya. And vivek comes from knowledge. As much as you know. By practicing the right knowledge, vivek is strengthened. After viveka is strengthened, a discrimination becomes tool which is polished well enough, it will lead to vairagya. So maturity of vivek is vairagya. Dispassion. I'll tell you how. Simple example and then you'll understand. Vivek means seeing things as they are. without imposing any desires or so-called expectations or so-called coloring them. For example, very simple fact. You are born and you're going to die. Everybody so. And when you're going to die, nobody can declare. You can't. Correct? That is a fact. Tomorrow, yes, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after, maybe right now, who knows? That's for sure. And once you have taken this as a learning, means this jnana, this wisdom is accepted fully. It will give you vivek, discrimination, that this is the true knowledge that anybody, anytime, anywhere, in any circumstance, healthy, unhealthy, weak, strong, old, young, doesn't matter, diseased or healthy, doesn't matter, may leave. And my earlier notion was not correct. Your mind will still say, will be loaded with expectations. No, this should not happen. Whatever it is, whether you expect or not, this is the fact. Once you're able to concretize, crystallize this wisdom, tell me, will any death around you be able to stir you? Because you know it. Not only know it, you know it from the experience which you have lived through. By continuously practicing it. So Vivek, when practiced, becomes Vairagya. It will lead to Vairagya in any case. Develop Vivek, discrimination. All right. And for creating that discrimination faculty, you will need knowledge. Right knowledge. If somebody exposes you to wrong knowledge, then your Vivek cannot be. For example, somebody may come and say, the world is corrupt and therefore you should adopt all the means to just earn the money, live the way the life is going on, the way people live around, and you also be corrupt. Okay, you can adopt this teaching, this knowledge can come to you, it can become your jnana. And everybody is corrupt and therefore I will also be corrupt. Everybody is selfish and therefore I will also be selfish, and so on and so forth. Now, with this wisdom, with this jnana, if you start living, you will not be able to calm down your mind, because anybody who's corrupt is always fearful. Is it not? If you're corrupt, can you do corruption without fear? Find out. You may have money, but you'll have continuous fear of. If somebody comes to me, if the system comes to me, is it not the fear intrinsically the part of being corrupt? This simply means this knowledge, even if with your sanskar, becomes your piece of knowledge, your piece of driving force, it is not going to lead to the vairagya. Correct? It will not lead to shanti. It will not lead to aklishta-vṛttis. Klishta-vṛttis. So therefore, jnana is important. Now, what the particular point I was actually making, I was trying to tell you from the perspective of sadhana. Those who are engaged in sadhana, they should know that we are now living parallel lives, two parallel lives. One is working by, and that is always with you. That was with you, something have changed because you are satsangi people, you come to discourses, you learn new concepts, you learn new theories, you learn new wisdom each week, maybe you come here and learn. New wisdom is given. And that wisdom you agree to. If you don't agree, I don't think you'll come. You agree. Somewhere you appreciate. Yeah, this is correct, this is correct. This wisdom, which is given by scriptures, by teachers, by elderly people, by saints, by noble people, this is called Vidya. Universal principles, Vidya. So we are interacting in this world using Vidya. Whenever we are interacting in this world, we have to use Vidya. Correct or not? Knowledge attained in words. Knowledge attained in the forms. Nama Rupa. Whatever knowledge we receive in the Nama Rupa, that is used in this world as Vidya. If the universal knowledge is true to its spirit, it is going to develop Vairagya. But forget about it. We know our knowledge is not complete. It is never experiential. Is it not? For example, you should not feel jealous. Will you say you should feel jealous? Anybody? But don't you feel jealous? You do at times. Which means what? This knowledge is not knowledge. What is your knowledge? Money is very important. This is your knowledge. Money is wealth. Money is support. Money is some power through which something can be accomplished. And it's not a thing to just let go. Correct? Money is something worth possessing. Correct? This is your knowledge. This is your knowledge. Experiential. Because if somebody comes and says, give me all the money, you'll not give. If they give me your 50% of money, you'll not give. Give me your 10% of money, you'll think 100 times before giving. Right or not? But do you give this much thought to any such emotion which creeps into you that should I be jealous, should I not be jealous? Do you ever contemplate over it? Should I be angry, should I not be angry? Have you ever given that? Given any thought to that? No, because that is not a knowledge at all. It doesn't come to you. Not even feebly a sound comes inside your head that, no, my peace of mind is important and I should not be jealous. Do you question before being jealous? Do you question before becoming angry? Do you question before being fearful? You don't. You fully know that this is not what should be done, but knowing it in words does not become the part of your vidya. That's what I meant. Anyway, so here our transactional world is lived through vidya. And our sadhana world is lived by the technique. So knowledge obtained to transact in this world received in the form of words and forms. This is what is vidya, correct? Now, another knowledge which you are working parallelly, if you are a sadhaka, if whatever practice you are, pratham koti, dvitiya koti, tritiya koti, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. You are parallelly working on your energies and knowledge about which you don't have any perception of that particular entity. You are working on your energies using the tools given by your teacher. So there are two sets of exercises you are doing. One is interaction in this world using your common sense, logic, vidya, good teachings, bad teachings, whatever you keep, you are interacting in this world. Another one is working on your energies directly by the processes which are given to you. Of course, all of you, even if you're not so regular, off and on, once a week, do some sadhana if you're given. And if you're regular, if you're dedicated, then every day you're working on yourself, doing that sadhana. So sadhana processes are energy processes, and interaction in the world are bodily processes. Think about it. Bodily, you interact with the world using the powers of your body, right or not? You say good things, you say bad things, and whatever. You throw tantrum, you hit anybody, you yell at anybody, all that. Without using your body, you can't. Ultimately, you use your bodily functions most of the time. And then on the subtle aspect of it, you use your wisdom. Wisdom which is in words, whether it has become experiential or not, it has a possibility to be applied. Correct? ना इतना क्लियर है ना भाई? तो हम दुनिया में आपको इंटरैक्ट करने के लिए क्या देते हैं? विद्या. वो जो कि शरीर के थ्रू आपका इंटरैक्शन है इस दुनिया से और मन के थ्रू है. मन मतलब जो आउटवर्डली हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है. ठीक है, दैट्स वन. And the second one is the energy processes which are given, which you do on the meditation mat, on sadhana, जो आप अल्टर पर रखे हुए किसी चीज पर अपना ध्यान लगा के करते होंगे, कुछ मंत्र करते हैं, something that works on your energies. Why I'm saying all this? Because Some of you should know that the energy processes will work if you follow the guidelines, whether you know or don't. All right. Now that will change the potentialities within you. And Vidya part will take care of your interaction in the world. If Vidya is not modified, then the potentialities which you acquire during the sadhana, for example, if you are doing sadhana, do you think any sadhana will make you more aggressive? It should not. And no sadhana will do so. Let me tell you, let me assure you. You're working on yourself, on your energy. So your energies are potent with the compassion now. Compassion. Ready to express compassion. Now, this compassion has to be expressed using Vidya, because unless you use Vidya, your equipment will not support. This body, speech, etc. will not support. Only Vidya can make this instrument ready, which expresses compassion. Understand? The energy of compassion is expressed through what? Expressed through this speech, body, at the best, little bit of emotion. And for that, the trigger, or for that, you have Vidya. Now, if you don't align your Vidya properly, all the potentialities which you develop in your sadhana, which are positive, which are universally positive, they will start coming in conflict with your energies, which you are creating in some sort of barriers which you are creating using your Vidya. So flawed Vidya will create an inner fight between the potentiality which you have created and the real tool or through which these potentiality can express themselves. Now, this can create a lot of turmoil in your body balance. What is it? That many bodily functions can go haywire. So, if you suppose if your compassion is not getting expressed because of your raga, because of your own identity, you were not able to forgive anyone. You see, compassion want to express, but your system, which is the outer layer, is not aligned. Why? Because your thoughts, your sanskar, your vrittis, your vasanas are so strong that they put up a shield. All right. What will happen? It will start impacting your heart center. Why am I telling all this? And suppose you need to be fearful, but with your own thinking, you're making yourself, you should be fearful or fearless. You should be fearless. Sadhana is creating the potentiality, probability, and what do you say? The energies of fearlessness. But through your thinking, you're creating fear. What will happen? Your digestive system will start showing signals. Why? Because you need to express fearlessness. And this fearlessness is not getting expressed only because your Vidya is coming in the way. And that is what? Every place where the trayo is given, the trayo is of sadhana, satsang, seva. You see, sadhana is for the energy processes, satsang is for the Vidya processes, and seva is actually expression of these two in tandem. That's the natural outcome. And if you're not doing, it asks you, the system asks you to engage in it in total sincerity. Accept it as a part of your life, part of your personality. So anywhere, even if people are not responding properly, even if suppose you go to a madhouse, really mental asylum, do you think you'll be treated in a very fair way there? People will, of course, those mad guys are going to abuse, maybe even go and come and hit you, try to hit you. Is it not? They'll do all sort of things. What challenge is this? The challenge is that I need to learn to express my compassion despite any external obstruction. That is what seva is giving, which means I am allowing my Vidya channel to align with my sadhana potentialities, which I have earned through sadhana processes. Please recognize, being a sadhak and not being noble in your external, not being able to control what you could and what you should by right kind of thinking, which means any sadhak who is given this energy process should also parallelly work on the knowledge, vidya process. And it will dissolve the vrittis so easily. It will create cessation of the bad vrittis, and also it will instill aklishta-vṛtteḥ in your body, vidya complex, and what you call subtle energy complex. This system becomes kind of homogenized, uniform, comes in balance, works in tandem. You're a perfect sadhak. Now, the inner struggle is gone. So this inner struggle manifests itself in ways of your illnesses at times, in ways of your other mental issues, becoming obsessed with something or loaded with anger all the time, kind of depression you feel. This is what the problem is. And in such conditions, you will not be able to make your vrittis feeble. First step was to convert klishta vrittis to aklishta vrittis. That was the first step. After you have achieved this state of aklishta vrittis, then you can go beyond vrittis. So, if you are still suffering from klishta vrittis, not feeling good, not feeling motivated, not feeling, it simply means समझदारी से जिंदगी नहीं चल रही. जो पता है हमें, जो नॉलेज हमें है, उसको अभी हमने अप्लाई करना नहीं शुरू किया है. और अगर हम कर भी रहे हैं तो हम सुपरफिशियली एट द लेवल ऑफ बॉडी एंड स्पीच कर रहे हैं. हमने उसको ये मान के नहीं दिया है कि दिस इज व्हाट आई नीड एंड आई देयरफॉर आई शुड बी एंथुसियास्टिक अबाउट. एंड सच अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट is a big impediment in your progress. Please remember this. And we all continue to struggle with so many things during our progression on the spiritual path. You may find that even so-called very advanced teachers also, you may find that they're suffering from something or the other. Why? Because this still, the vidya part is not able to take care of the potentiality which needs to be expressed. So, I'm not saying that you will definitely get a physical ailment, but many a times you will understand that so many things will start changing in your life when you do sadhana. Have you ever tried to assess? I'm talking about those people who are doing sadhana. Go back to those days when you are not doing sadhana. And I can tell you, all of you would probably eat like buffaloes. Now, having done sadhana for let's say 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, doesn't matter how much. If you have done it intently, with all its prerequisites, changes will start happening. You can't eat like buffaloes anymore. Your plate size will reduce. Your menu will reduce. Items which you can easily tolerate will reduce. Why? Because there are signals. No tamasic things I can't eat. You will have problems. Have you experienced this? Why it is happening? Because the potentialities which are about to express or ready to express. Vidya is about seeing things as they are. And sadhana gives us those kind of indications in our behavior. And साधना नहीं करता था तो मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आता था. After I started doing sadhana, too much anger. अरे बाबा, look at your own life. What are you doing? Understand? What is it? I am not allowing my compassion to get expressed. I am keeping so much kind of contempt about situations and people around me that I'm not expressing my compassion. And if I'll express my compassion, of course, it will come out in some or the other way. Somebody may get depressed, somebody may become irritable, always ready to fight. Somebody may go into, I have seen people like that, and that is why I'm telling you. Working on vrittis is our necessity. Patanjali is very, very clever. I'll tell you, very clever teacher. But what he says, he gives a system in which he fixes it in the first two steps itself. He creates the setup in the first two steps of yama and niyama. Rest of the things are energy processes. Before that, none. For the people who are doing sadhana, etc. today, most of the teachers will give you the energy processes without giving you vidya, without giving you any guideline on how to behave with your own self, how to conduct your own self, and how to conduct your behavior with others. They don't give it. And therefore, all the problems. No progress, rather conflicts. Diseases. I have seen such people, I can tell you. I have seen such people who were really very, very good. And looking at their lives, you'll say, these people are so devoted sadhaka. Look at their timetable, getting up at 3:30, starting their japa at 4:30, pani ho, jada ho, barsat ho, this routine, 4:30 they begin, 8:30 they end, 4 hours of japa, sadhana, whatnot, and then after that, during the day, they will conduct themselves in that routine, and after that, again, evening, they will again start their sadhana, 4 5 hours again sadhana, and then have very little food, this food, that food, and they continue. But in their interaction with the world, somewhere they were making mistakes. What has happened to them? Suffering from many physical issues, even mental issues like OCD, etc. Too many things. It's a possibility, but I'm not giving you any sort of signal. I'm just telling you that vrittis have to be taken care of. And that can be done only by vidya. Don't expect the rosary beads to work on it. This is clear process of thinking. Only thoughts can help. Clear thinking can help. Discrimination can help. And your jnana can help. Applied. All right? So vrittis are to be taken care of. And when vrittis become weak, your mind becomes clear. Such a mind is kind of ready to perceive the truth of the things as they are. And how? By becoming like that. Thank you. Let's close it. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Om Shiva.